Breaking. Steffi Graf's game-changing bombshell about AlexEala's shocking 5-year deal. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Champions Tennis. If you follow the history of this sport, you know that there are certain names that carry a weight heavier than gold. There are players, there are champions, and then there is Steffi Graf. For decades, the German legend, the architect of the Golden Slam, has remained an enigma, shrouded in privacy, rarely stepping into the spotlight, and almost never attaching her name to the volatile world of modern player sponsorships. But today, the silence has broken. And it hasn't just broken, it has shattered into a million pieces. We are tracking a developing story that is sending absolute shockwaves from Manila to Munich, a rumor so potent it threatens to realign the power structure of the WTA Tour for the next decade. Reports are flooding in that Steffi Graf has made a definitive, game-changing move. She hasn't just offered a compliment. She has reportedly committed to a massive, unprecedented 5-year personal sponsorship and mentorship deal. And the recipient of this golden ticket, it isn't a European powerhouse. It isn't an American prodigy. It is a 20-year-old pride of the Philippines, AlexEala. Graf has reportedly looked at the entire landscape of rising stars, the Mira Andreevas, the Coco Gauffs, and pointed directly at Eala, declaring her, and I quote, the only and brightest diamond of the young tennis generation. This is not a drill. This is a coronation. Today, we are going deep, deeper than anyone else, into what this partnership means, the tactical revolution it promises, and why the tennis world is absolutely erupting over the union of the German legend and the Filipino prodigy. Buckle up. This is the breakdown you've been waiting for. The gravity of the Graf seal of approval. To truly understand the magnitude of this news, we have to contextualize the source. In the world of sports, endorsements happen every day. Agents make calls, brands sign checks, and players wear patches on their sleeves. But Steffi Graf does not operate like a normal brand or a normal former player. Since her retirement, she has protected her image and her privacy with the same ferocity she used to protect her baseline. She does not chase clout. She does not need the money. She rarely gives interviews. So, when sources claim that Graf is personally sponsoring AlexEala for a 5-year period, we are witnessing a complete deviation from her post-career behavior. This suggests that Graf sees something in Eala that goes beyond forehands and backhands. She sees a lineage. She sees a mirror image of the discipline required to reach the pinnacle of the sport. The phrase, only and brightest diamond, is specific. It implies rarity. It implies that while the tour is flooded with cubic zirconia, players who shine for a moment and then fade, Graf views Eala as a genuine article, capable of withstanding the immense pressure of the global stage. The anatomy of the 5-year commitment. Let's analyze the duration of this reported deal. 5 years. In the volatile world of professional tennis, 5 years is an eternity. Most sponsorship deals for unparalleled juniors are 2 years, maybe 3, with performance clauses attached. A 5-year commitment takes AlexEala from age 20 to age 25. That is the prime developmental window of a professional athlete. This timeline tells us that this is not a marketing stunt. If this were a PR move, it would be a 1-year campaign. A 5-year deal is a legacy project. It indicates that Graf represents a safety net, a guiding hand that will be present through the inevitable slumps, the injuries, and the difficult losses. It provides Eala with the most valuable asset a young player can have, stability. Knowing that a legend is in your corner for the long haul allows a player to stop playing for their next meal check and start playing for history. The financial liberation of the diamond. We need to be brutally honest about the economics of tennis. It is one of the most expensive sports in the world to pursue professionally. Unlike team sports where the franchise pays for your travel, your hotel, and your medical care, a tennis player is a sole proprietor. They pay their own way. For a player from Southeast Asia, where the exchange rate against the dollar or euro can be punishing, the financial hurdle is often the opponent that beats them before they even step on the court. If Graf is indeed backing Eala financially, the burden that vanishes is astronomical. We are talking about the ability to hire a full-time traveling physio to prevent injuries. We are talking about flying business class to tournaments, so you arrive rested rather than wrecked. We are talking about booking the best practice courts and staying in hotels that guarantee a good night's sleep. This levels the playing field against the wealthy federations of the United States, France, and the UK. It removes the anxiety of, can I afford this tournament? And replaces it with, how do I win this tournament? The Filipino phenomenon, recent evidence of greatness. Now, why Eala? Why now? If you have been paying attention to the results rather than just the headlines, the answer is obvious. 2025 has been a metamorphic year for AlexEala. She has transitioned from a promising junior to a lethal professional. We have to talk about the Southeast Asian Games in Thailand. This was not just a tournament. It was a pressure cooker. In Southeast Asia, national pride is currency. Eala walked into Bangkok with a target painted on her back the size of a tennis court. She was the highest-ranked player, the one everyone wanted to scalp. In the final, she faced a home favorite, Maninkaya Sawanki. The crowd was hostile. The humidity was suffocating. The momentum was with the local player. A lesser player, a more fragile player, would have crumbled. But AlexEala went into a zone that looked eerily familiar to anyone who watched Steffi Graf in the 90s. She was ice cold. She dismantled her opponent 6-1, 6-2. It wasn't a match. It was a demolition. That gold medal was proof that Eala possesses the clutch gene. She didn't just win. She performed when the lights were brightest and the expectations were heaviest. And what did she do immediately after? She didn't take a month off to party in Boracay. She flew straight to the MGM Macau Tennis Masters to rub shoulders with ADP elites like Jack Draper. She is scheduled for the Mubadala Abu Dhabi Open in 2026. Her schedule is packed, her work ethic is Spartan, and her trajectory is vertical. This is exactly the kind of grit that attract a champion like Steffi Graf. The Rafa Nadal Academy Foundation. We cannot ignore the DNA of Eala's game. She is a graduate and a disciple of the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, Spain. She has spent years absorbing the clay court wisdom of the king of clay himself. She already plays with that Vamos spirit, the refusal to give up on a single ball, the high RPM lefty forehand that kicks up like a scorpion's tail. Now, imagine combining the grit and resilience of Rafael Nadal with the tactical precision and elegance of Steffi Graf. It is a tennis Frankenstein monster in the best possible way. You are synthesizing the two greatest mentalities the sport has ever seen. Nadal teaches you how to suffer and survive. Graf teaches you how to dominate and execute. If Eala can integrate Graf's flat, penetrating shots and slice mastery with Nadal's heavy spin and defense, she becomes a puzzle that the modern WTA Tour is not equipped to solve. The tactical evolution. The lefty advantage meets the Graf slice. Let's get technical for a moment. This is where the tennis nerds, myself included, start to get really excited. Modern women's tennis has become somewhat homogenized. It is dominated by aggressive baseliners who hit flat and hard. It is a power game. Aryna Sabalenka, Elena Rybakina, Iga Swiatek. They want to hit through you. Steffi Graf was different. Yes, she had the Fräulein forehand, but her backhand slice was a weapon of mass disruption. It stayed low, it skidded, and it forced opponents to bend their knees and generate their own pace. In today's game, where players are used to balls sitting up in the strike zone, a world-class slice is kryptonite. AlexEala is left-handed. That is already a statistically significant advantage. Only about 10% of the tour is left-handed. The ball spins the opposite way. The serve out wide on the ad court opens up angles that right-handers can't replicate. Now, if Graf can teach Eala how to use that lefty spin to set up a biting slice, she creates a tactical nightmare. Imagine a sequence where Eala pulls her opponent off the court with a lefty cross-court forehand, and then when the return comes, she slices it low into the corner. The opponent is running, bending, and trying to lift a dead ball. It forces errors. It breaks rhythm. It frustrates power hitters. This is a tactical evolution that could take Eala from the top 50 to the top 10. The jealousy factor and locker room dynamics. We have to address the human element here. This news is not going to be well received by everyone. Imagine being a top-ranked European or American junior. You have the federation support, you have the media hype, and you think you are the next big thing. And then, the greatest female player of the Open era flies halfway across the world to handpick a girl from the Philippines as her successor. That stings. It creates immediate rivalries. It puts a target on Eala's back even bigger than the one she wore at the SEA Games. Every time she steps on the court, she isn't just AlexEala anymore. She is Graf's chosen one. Opponents will play 10% harder just to prove Steffi wrong. The locker room can be a lonely place when you're the teacher's pet, especially when the teacher is royalty. Eala will need to develop a thick skin. She will need to feed off that envy rather than let it isolate her. The global impact. A new market awakens. From a business perspective, this is a masterstroke. The WTA has been trying to crack the Asian market deeply for decades. Li Na did it for China. Naomi Osaka did it for Japan. But AlexEala represents Southeast Asia and, more specifically, the global Filipino diaspora. Filipino fans are legendary. They are arguably the most engaged, passionate, and digitally active fan base on the planet. When Manny Pacquiao fought, the country stood still. AlexEala is poised to become the tennis version of Pacquiao. But it goes beyond the Philippines. Filipinos are everywhere. Nurses in London, engineers in Dubai, healthcare workers in New York. They show up. With Graf's endorsement, Eala crosses over from a national hero to a global superstar. Sponsors like Nike, Adidas, Rolex, and Wilson are looking at the numbers. They see a young, articulate, humble player who represents a market of over 100 million people. Backed by the most credible name in the sport, the commercial floodgates are about to open. We are talking about Eala becoming one of the highest-paid female athletes in the world, not just from prize money, but from endorsements that recognize her unique position as the bridge between Asian tennis and Western prestige. The skepticism. Is it too much pressure? We must play devil's advocate. Is this too much too soon? History is littered with next big things who crumbled under the weight of expectation. Being called a diamond is poetic, but diamonds are formed under crushing pressure. Can a 20-year-old handle the expectations of a nation and the expectations of Steffi Graf? However, Eala feels different. In her interviews, she is grounded. She speaks about the process, a word she likely picked up at the Nadal Academy. She doesn't seem enamored with the fame. She seems obsessed with the mastery of the sport. And Steffi Graf, notoriously intelligent, would not invest in a player who she thought was mentally fragile. Graf knows what pressure is. She played with the weight of Germany on her shoulders while dealing with intense personal family drama in the 90s. If she sees a kindred spirit in Eala, we should trust her judgment. The 2026 roadmap. So, what does the immediate future look like? The 2026 season is the proving ground. We are looking at the Australian Open in Melbourne. If we see Steffi Graf in a player's box, sunglasses on, stoic face, nodding as Eala hits a winner, the internet will melt down. The visual of Graf coaching Eala is worth millions in marketing exposure for the WTA. We will be watching the clay court season closely. If the Graf-Nadal hybrid theory holds true, Eala should be making deep runs in Madrid and Rome. And then Wimbledon. Graf won 7 titles on the grass. It is a surface that rewards instinct and bravery. If Eala can translate Graf's grass court wisdom into her own game, she becomes a threat on all 3 surfaces. Conclusion. In conclusion, this story is about more than just a sponsorship deal. It is about the passing of a torch. It is about the globalization of tennis. It is about a legend stepping out of the shadows to anoint a successor from a nation hungry for glory. Steffi Graf has thrown the gauntlet down. She has identified the diamond in the rough. Now, it is up to AlexEala to shine. The infrastructure is there, the funding is there, and the mentorship is there. The only variable left is the player herself. The 2026 season is no longer just another year on the calendar. It is the beginning of the diamond era. And we, the fans, have the front row seat to history. Call to action. Now I want to turn this over to you, the Champions tennis community. I want you to go to the comments section right now and tell me, do you think AlexEala can live up to the Steffi Graf hype? Is she a future Grand Slam champion? Or is this too much pressure for a young star? And who would you rather have in your corner, Steffi Graf or Serena Williams? That is the debate of the century. If you enjoyed this deep dive analysis, do not leave without smashing that subscribe button and hitting the bell icon. We are committed to bringing you the most in-depth, no-nonsense tennis coverage on YouTube. Share this video with your tennis group chats, your doubles partners, and anyone who loves the sport. We are watching the stars rise together. Until next time, keep your eye on the ball. This is Champions Tennis, signing off.